Hello everyone, welcome to Edge Time. This is the disassembly for the all-new CJRB bolt. This is one that I definitely recommend watching a video when disassembling for the first time because it is a bit of a trick. So, without further ado, let's get right into it. One nice thing about this knife is that the body hardware is T8 as well as the pivot. Unfortunately, the clip screws are still T6, but that's not a huge deal. Start with the clip screws here. There's our clip. Now we'll switch to our T8 for the rest of the knife. These are not captive spacers, so they can start spinning. Look, yeah, this one is spinning, so I'm not gonna worry about it. I'm just going to go ahead and get this one out, this screw out, and then get the pivot unscrewed. So this knife is very tricky to disassemble at first if you've never done it. It's a weird knife. It's a very strange design. So the way I like to do this is, here is our G10 scale. I'm not really going to clean this thing because I've already been through it and cleaned it. I might give it a quick wipe down, but yeah, I've already deep cleaned it, so I'm not going to spend too much time cleaning it. Probably just get the oil off and put some fresh oil on. But so here is our first Omega spring, and here is a really good view of how the lock works. So basically, it's just a normal crossbar lock, but you just have this extra little shark lock-like appendage up here. And how that disassembles is very interesting. So let's go ahead, and it's much easier to disassemble this thing if you have the other spacer out, but unfortunately these are not captive. So let's see, this one might behave for me here. Yes, this one's going to behave. I'm not going to have to grip it. But on that back one, I'm probably going to have to take a pair of pliers, and yeah, I'm going to have to take a pair of pliers and grip that. Now, the way to do that without hurting your knife, without scratching up your barrel spacers, is you just take a pair of needle nose pliers and you just want to like wrap a rubber band around the spacer here. And then you can use that to cushion against the pliers, get a really good firm grip on it like that. And this is not the best position here, but it'll work just fine. And then this screw will come right out. That'll work on the majority of knives, but sometimes they are so stuck that that won't work, but yeah, that will usually work. So we've got all of our spacers out there. I'm just going to poke this screw out if I can. It doesn't really need to come out, but so this is where things get a little bit weird. Let's go ahead and let's punch this pivot out here. There we go. So now the pivot is out, and we can just go ahead and take the blade on out. Give me one moment while I find that. There we go. There's that bearing, which we will need. This is where things get a little bit weird. So when you are first getting this knife apart, it looks like it is impossible to disassemble because, as you can see, the little wider part on the, well, it looks like the crossbar lock is too wide to fit through this channel, but this one has a little secret. I don't know if there are any other knives that do this, but we'll go and take out this second Omega spring just to make this easier. But this crossbar lock actually is in two halves, and all you have to do is unscrew the one half from the other, and then the whole thing comes apart very nicely. So here's your stop pin. Here is the other, well, here's the other side of the crossbar lock, along with the shark appendage here. And this can be a little bit stubborn to get off. What I did last time, and I'll probably do this time, is just like try to lever this up a little bit, and then use, where's my clip here? Use the clip from the knife. This is not a best practice, but it works for me. And this is not a very expensive knife. And you don't even see this part of the knife, so I'm not super concerned about it. But there we go. Just pop this up. And there we go. So that is, excuse me, that is the CJRB bolt. fully disassembled, and I'm just going to give it a quick little wipe off, and then I'm going to show you all how to reassemble this one. It's really best to reassemble it in a certain order, so make sure you are following along if you're working on your CJRB bolt right now. I'm not sure what the deal is with the CJRB bolt, because I believe that as of today, Sunday, June 15th, it's been over a week since Blade Show, and my video on it is still one of the only videos of it on YouTube, aside from CJRB's video themselves, which I believe I put out my video before they put out their video about it, which is weird. But like even Metal Complex hasn't put out a video about it, which is highly unusual. So I'm just not sure if people just absolutely despise it for some reason, or if they just haven't gotten theirs yet. Maybe I just got mine really early somehow. Yeah, I don't really know. But I look forward to seeing more videos on it because it is a really good knife. And I do plan on getting some of my family some of these because they are really good knives. Let's go ahead and clean this up just a little bit more. I just want to get the oil out of it because I'm going to switch here. This thing was lubricated with mineral oil, but I just got a new oil, so I want to put this in there. That should be mostly good. I'm just going to get the oil out of the bearings here. Mostly, at least. I'm not too worried about it. Okay, let's go ahead and get this thing back together. So it's best to reassemble the knife from the left side if you're looking at the back of the knife. So we're going to go ahead and just start rebuilding it. So what you're going to want to do is identify which side is the left skeletonized liner here, and this is the left one if you're looking at the spine of the knife, because I can see the wear from the bearings. So I'm going to set this down for now. I'm going to go ahead and begin rebuilding the axis lock and shark lock thing. So we'll put this right here, and then first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put in the Omega spring for this side. You have to be careful when you are putting in your Omega springs, make sure you get the right one. This one is the right one because it'll hook over here, and then, excuse me, this little part will go into the hole there, and then this can go on here. So what I'm going to go ahead and do now that I have this, to hold this all together, I'm going to go ahead and start putting in my spacers and get both of those in. And since I'm working on the left side, I don't have to worry about my pocket clip because I am right-handed and I put my pocket clip on the right side of the knife if you're looking down the spine. So let's go ahead and get this in here. This one may spin. Yeah, this one's probably going to want to spin on me, but I don't even really want to get this tight. I just want to get this tight enough to where this isn't going to fall back apart on me while I'm trying to work on it. So make sure you're using the body screws for this, not the clip screws. Okay, this one's getting a little spinny on me, but once I get the rest of the knife together, that'll be able to tighten just fine. So, so there's part one. This is where it can get a little bit difficult. It's just, you just have to be patient with it, really. That's the main thing. So let's go ahead and get the pivot on. I'm going to lay it flat as I can. I'm going to, instead of doing an oil sandwich like I normally do, I'm just going to lubricate both sides of the bearing inset here. And I am going to lubricate here as well. This is just a little bit easier. This is Deoxit X10S. I haven't used this stuff before. I just saw it when I was in a Micro Center in Sharonville the other day, and I just wanted to see how well this stuff works. So I'm going to try it for this. I have not used genuine KPL knife pivot lube before. I just think it's overpriced for what it is. I may try it someday, just not in the foreseeable future. This wasn't particularly cheap, but it wasn't as outrageous as knife pivot lube. Let's go ahead and put this bearing back on. Let's see, what do I want to do next? It probably would be best for me to go ahead and put the shark lock back on at this point. And I probably actually should have lubricated the Omega spring before I started putting it back together, but I'm just going to put a little bit here and it should hopefully work its way down to the Omega spring. It's not a huge deal. It's not going to really hurt the action of the knife. The action would be a little better if the Omega spring was lubricated, but we'll go ahead and get this back together. So just go and push this back on, just like that, and then make sure that this goes into its track, and we will lubricate that track as well. If this knife is, even if it's not, but if this knife is properly lubricated, it can be insanely smooth. It's really good even if it's not the best lubricated, but yeah, this knife can be very, very smooth when lubricated well. Let's get this up here, get our pivot pin back in, and the stop pin. There we go. Okay, we'll pull our lock back to allow the blade to go in there, and we will reassemble in the open position. Go ahead and get our bearing in there. I'm going to put just a little bit more oil right here, just to be safe. And then lubricate this side with the bearing. Should be good. And then we will go ahead and put the other side of the other liner back on here, and then we will screw on our other I forgot that this part can be a little bit challenging sometimes, just getting all of this to line up correctly, but it helps to let the tension off the blade, so just unlock it there and then it should go together. Okay, I've got some plastic from one of my model kits here. Alright, there we go. That looks good. Yep, everything is all lined up. So now I will go ahead and lubricate this part of the shark lock just a little bit. And then we will go ahead and get our other side of the axis lock screwed in, or crossbar lock rather. And I'm just going to get that screwed down as firm as I can, not too worried about it. Finger tight is good enough, because finger tight is all you're really going to get out of it. And then we can go ahead and we have to put our second Omega spring back on, and then we can put the rest of the knife back together. There we go. So that's in the hole. I will go ahead and lubricate the Omega spring on this side just a little bit. Does not need much. And this part of the axis lock, or crossbar lock, I'm just going to keep calling it axis lock probably. I'm used to Benchmade's version of it. There we go. Everything should be good now. We'll go ahead and put on the pivot screw. And we're going to go and tighten it down like all the way, and we will have to come back and loosen that back up later. If you work with models a lot, you know that you sometimes have to shave little bits of plastic off, and that stuff gets absolutely everywhere. Looks like, yeah, we might be spinning there. There we go. Now tighten it down on that side. Oh. Almost got a little bit of stripping there, but not quite. It just jumped a little bit. Didn't really strip. Alright. It does seem to me that the screws on this knife are, the heads are slightly larger than they should be, so a T8 will want to jump around a little bit, as well as a T6. You just have to be careful not to strip them out. Let's get our T6. And I've noticed that both with this knife and with my other CJRB, the Echo, right after you reassemble it, you're probably going to have a little bit of lock stick, both with this crossbar lock and with a button lock like the Echo. That's normal, and it'll go away. So this lock will be a little bit sticky when I get it all back together, but it'll break back in and it'll be just fine. I'm just going to get this clip roughly parallel with the grooves on the handle, not too worried about it, or just try to really just center it up in the handle. There we go, and then tighten it down the rest of the way. Yep, that one wants to jump on me. It's not stripping, it's just jumping. If anything, the head of my screwdriver itself is a little bit damaged, so I just need to grind it down a little bit. But alright, let's make sure everything else is tight, and then we will go adjusting that pivot. Oh, that one isn't tight. There we go. Alright, perfect. So we'll go ahead and get that pivot adjusted out. Probably going to need to take it out a fair bit. Well, that's actually pretty close to where it needs to be. Yep, a little bit of lock stick there. We'll take it out just a little bit more. I'm actually on the wrong side here, I do believe. Yeah, there we go. Yep, I believe that does it. So there we go. There is the full disassembly and reassembly of this CJRB bolt, featuring the recoil lock V2. So I hope this video was helpful, and I hope that if you have this knife, I hope you're enjoying it so far as much as I am. I'm definitely enjoying it. I think it's a great knife for the price. I'm going to be putting out a more detailed overview of it. I did a unboxing of it. I believe it was about a week ago, but I want to put out a more detailed overview of it because I learned some things about it, and yeah, so be looking for that video. And with that, hope you all enjoyed this one, and I will see you all in the next one. Have a good day.